When I first saw her, I like instantly knew this girl's already a star. And I went to her Instagram and I DM'd her. She's gonna be a great contender for the program.
So Katseye were positioned to be HYBE's global girl group success story. They had major brand deals like Glossier, Laneige, Gap. They even had 2 Grammy nominations at the 2026 Grammys, and they had a Netflix documentary like showcasing their formation and how they were basically put together as a girl group. But right now, one of their members, Manon, is on hiatus, and fans are basically divided and are asking so many questions about the optics, the mismanagement. So I really want to make a video to break down everything, the fan theories and the questions and the mismanagement theories as well, and also like where Katseye is going to go from this, like how they're going to recover from this. Like people are saying that like Manon should leave and not come back, but also like how is Katseye going to carry on as a 5-member group, like how that's going to affect them moving forward and like their reputation and their brand as a whole. So how this all started was earlier on in the week, HYBE and Geffen released a statement saying that Manon was going to be on a hiatus. They didn't really give a return date, but they basically said that like group activities were going to carry on and she wanted to focus on her mental health and like her well-being. So fans reached out to like Manon and were like, giving her well wishes. And also like if you've been keeping up with Katseye, you'd know that like Manon is very, she's not really shy to like talk about her mental health. And she's, I think in a certain magazine cover or something like that they did, she talked about how, especially like she's from Switzerland, the work-life balance and like the work-life culture is very different from that of like South Korea. She said that like if you have like you're not feeling too good, like you would take a day off, like nobody expects you to like carry on and like basically force yourself and put pressure on yourself to like show up or like work or stuff like that. And so Manon has been very like, if she's not feeling too good, her mental health isn't too good, she's going to take that day off. And so fans weren't really too worried. Well, the alarm bells came from where Manon went on Weverse and she was replying back to fans, thanking them for their like support and them worrying about her. But also she said that like she was healthy and she was like doing well. And she said that like she doesn't like, things are out of her control, things happen that she cannot control. So that's when fans like were in an uproar and they were like, right, okay, what's going on? Because these 2 statements are contradictory. Manon says that she's doing fine and things are out of her control. But HYBE is saying that like group activities are going to carry on. And even you had like Danny's father, which I'll get into like later on in the video. He was caught on, I think it was Instagram, saying that like Katseye is more than 1 member, like the show must go on pretty much. And so people were dragging him for filth as well. so I want to like take it all the way back for me where it all started at Popstar Academy on Netflix. So that's when I first heard about Katseye. I watched the documentary on Netflix. I think like watching the documentary, I think people were keeping up with it on YouTube. I think that's like where it was going on, like, because I think on the show people could vote for people. You couldn't vote on Netflix. Like we got to see the whole start and ending process. But yeah, I think maybe it was like it was going down on YouTube. That's where like people were voting and keeping up to date with it. But like this whole idea of like watching girl groups and boy groups being put together, it's not nothing new. Like in the K-pop world, like we see, I think like the last group that I saw like grumbles about was like Zero Base One. They had a survival show. I think Twice had one. Like there's been so many groups that have done a survival show. Like it's completely normal, especially in Korea. I think Project 101, I remember they had like that was like their whole thing, basically watching like girl groups and boy groups being put together. I think the boy group one was called something different. But like yeah, you'd watch them basically being put together. People like fans will vote for their favorite. Like it would be this whole thing, like production being put on. And even like in the Western world, like you had Diddy doing Make the Band, and you had like I think that was like an MTV show, and that's where he founded Day 6. I think Danity Kane were founded on Diddy's Meet the Band show. So this whole idea of like watching girl groups and like boy groups being put together is nothing new. Katseye weren't the first group to do it first. Looking at it from that angle, that's where like a lot of the drama as well comes from. In the Netflix documentary, there was a lot more drama than like talent shown. I think like especially in the beginning, like when it got to the end and there was more anticipation on like, okay, people are getting like evicted. I don't know. I wouldn't really call it evicted, but they were being dropped. Like if you weren't performing well, they didn't really think you had a chance. They'd drop you. Or I think if you also weren't getting majority of the votes as well, they'd drop you. So that's when people and when they got to do the challenges where they were doing, performing K-pop songs and doing like they were working in groups and being put together. That's when like it was a little bit more like about talent. But before that, it was just drama, drama galore. Manon was being portrayed as lazy. Well, not really portrayed, but like she wasn't really seen as a team player in the Netflix documentary. Adela and Sophia, who were also girls on the show. Sophia, who is also now on Katseye, she's one of the members too. They were given the villain archetype, and they were seen as like bullies or like haters of Manon. But this was all. This is not my. I think this is obviously how they were coming across on the actual documentary. Like that was like mainly Netflix's issue and the way that it was edited. I think I see from like different perspectives because at first, like when I watched Popstar Academy, I was like, nah, I'm Team Manon. Like, why is she getting all this hate from? Because like Manon was scouted, like quite a lot of the girls they auditioned for the project and to be basically in the group. But like Manon was, I think, scouted on Instagram or something.
When I first saw her, I like instantly knew this girl's already a star. And I went to her Instagram and I DM'd her.
She's gonna be a great contender for the program.
I have a gut feeling I'm gonna be in the group.
And so that already creates friction because you have girls who are like, okay, this is my ultimate dream. And then you have someone being like, like, I mean, I was picked to be here. You know what I mean? So it creates like some sort of tension. Manon, even then, like I said, like would take days off to focus on her mental health. I think in one part of the show, she went back to Switzerland and they flew out a choreographer to carry on working with her because obviously the show was still going on. So just because like you're going to Switzerland to take some time away doesn't mean that like you have to stop practicing. So they had to send like a choreographer to her. So that shows like the level of like dedication and how much that they really wanted Manon to be like part of the whole Katseye experience. And I think even in one scene she says that like she knows she's gonna be part of the group. So I think it was like, shown to her like that, hey, like they really want me here.
I have a gut feeling I'm gonna be in the group.
And there was a scene where I think like it was very clear like all the producers had like gotten together, like some of the girls like Sophia, Adela I remember them because they were the most vocal, but they were sat on like a couch, like on a sofa, and they were basically saying how much Manon like she doesn't work hard enough and she's not giving it her all. And even there was like a scene of Lara saying that like, oh, it's frustrating that people who haven't been here like are getting votes because they're pretty, but like people who work so hard are getting like the least amount of votes. Like so, like there was a lot of like so it was crazy because like there were, a lot of these girls were very anti-Manon.
Hi, how are you? Yeah. We don't get a break, right?
Sophia just gave me the dirtiest look on planet Earth.
Why?
I don't know.
And so like watching the show, I was like, naturally the audience is gonna be like, oh, look at all these lot ganging up on Manon. Like I feel sorry for Manon. From a different perspective, if this is all a group project where you have to dance and sing with someone, and then someone decides like, hey, I'm gonna take a day off, or I'm gonna go back to Switzerland, it throws your practice and everything off because like there's the other groups, they have all their members attending and they have all the members giving it their all. So then you sort of panic and you're like, okay, this person is getting like being shown as a favorite. So it's clear that they're going to be a part of this group. But like, what about me? I think like that's where like I see things from like their perspective and their point of view. Or like Sophia and Adela's point of view. Like, I could see how and why like the girls were concerned. Like if you were put with Manon in your group and they're like, hey, like in a week's time you're gonna need to do a performance, and Manon is taking days off, like you would panic. You'd be like, well, we're clearly not gonna win because we're gonna have to re-block rehearsals, we're gonna have to re-block things because a member is not here and is not in attendance. After the whole Sophia, Adela, like Manon, like Lara situation, I was like, okay, Katseye has been selected. We know who all the 6 girls are. It is what it is. The one person that really, really irks me, like and still to this day irks me, like in the documentary, was Missy. I think Missy was, I don't really know her direct role, but I think she was also one of the people who was tasked of putting Katseye together. There's one scene where she says, if it was up to her, Manon wouldn't be a part of this group.
When we first met Manon, there was obvious star quality there. Sometimes people of star quality have this arrogance or whatever it is about them. But with K-pop, there's also this required humbleness and kindness and caring about others and your teammates. I have not seen that from Manon. I would absolutely not put her in this group based on my work experience with her.
Oh, that's good for you, baby.
It was a crazy statement to make because Sophia is allowed to have her opinion. Adela is allowed to have her opinion. Manon is allowed to have her opinion. Lara is allowed to have their opinion. And also, like, I want to give these girls grace, given the fact that they were very young on the show. But Missy, as a grown-ass woman, I feel like she should not have been making statements like that. And then to find out, I think I was watching like the VMAs or something. I was watching the video and I could see like Missy in the background. And I was like, wait, you mean to tell me that she made a statement like this and was still given the role as a manager? Like she was, now I think she's like part of the managers of like Katseye and she's actively following them around. Like I'd be like very worried, and I feel like I'm surprised that like I wonder what Manon feels about it. I know that like quite a lot of the girls have like said, hey, like we've moved on, da da da. But like like if one of the staff members said, hey, like I wouldn't want you in the group, and then I'm part of the group now and you expect this person to be with me like all day, every day, like as a colleague, I'm gonna have problems with that. Then I feel like after Popstar Academy, where HYBE and Geffen messed up was that they should have really honed in on the PR. They should have, because afterwards there was like slight drama going on. I think there was some girls who were obviously visibly upset that they didn't get a chance to debut in Katseye. So obviously they took to their social media. There was like stuff going on. I think like some of the girls were throwing shade on Instagram. I think like some fans were noticing that like some of the girls like Danny and Sophia or whatever, like they take pictures with some of the old, like the girls who didn't make the Katseye group in Popstar Academy, and like maybe they'll like some fans had issues with that, like hey, like this person bullied. I think like quite a lot of the fans really disliked Adela because obviously she was very opinionated on Manon. So like when they'd see like Danny or Sophia take pictures with Adela, like they were would say like, hey, like obviously this is how is Manon supposed to feel. I think there was like times where Manon was like cropped out photos and like things like that, like all that shade going on. And I feel like where HYBE and Geffen messed up, like they should have like I know that like now Katseye do it where they like will show videos of them like I don't know, like doing team building activities, like that sort of thing. But also like sometimes it's mainly like brands like BuzzFeed or when they're promoting things is where they go out and they like do things like that. But like for example, like when you look at like a lot of these other K-pop groups, like I know Rise do it all the time. Like NCT very big for doing this as well. They would like go on like random trips, like or like field trips, or like different things. Like they'd go to like theme parks or something, and they'd create content and like do things together. And like so, it's not just creating content for fans and like creating that bond with fans, but it's also like showing like it's like bringing them together as a team and like doing good PR. So I feel like what HYBE and Geffen should have done was as soon as Katseye was selected, like the girls were selected to be a part of Katseye, they should have created a platform, maybe like here on YouTube, and had the girls, go out and do things. Whether it's, I think like I really like the scene where they went back to Korea, like in the Popstar Academy documentary, where they went back to Korea and they were doing like, they got to like experience and do different things. Like some of the girls went out to eat, they went shopping, they got to like experience the culture. I feel like they should have done that. Like whether the girls go maybe to LA, like some parts of LA, or go to Korea or somewhere and like do things together and like do challenges and like sort of build their bond as a team. And they don't have to like each other, but it's to create the optics and to show the fans that like, hey, we're doing fine. Like the Popstar Academy, Dream Academy, that whole thing is gone. This is Katseye now. I feel like that's where HYBE and Geffen messed up, was not doing that and not giving us more of that. Because doing that while, when Nali and, doing all the promotions for that is fine. But like, I feel like that should have been where it matters. That would have been where it matters most. Then to expand on that, once the group was confirmed, I feel like they should have started from scratch and had like new managers who came in and sort of got to know the girls like as they are in Katseye and not from Dream Academy. So once again, still smoke from Missy, but I feel like Missy should have never become the manager. I feel like that journey should have ended there. Like, hey, I've done my job. I've put together Katseye. Let me go do a different project. I feel like a new manager should have come in and should have been like, okay, I'm getting to know Lara. Like right now, I'm getting to know Manon, I'm getting to know Sophia, I'm getting to know Danny, I'm getting to know Megan, I'm getting to know Yunche. Like it should have been like, this is a new beginning, this is a new start, not from the way you were portrayed on Popstar Academy. Because now who's to say that like Missy still doesn't have those thoughts or that like those sort of like beliefs now. And now going on to the optics, it's like now fans are putting bits and pieces together and noticing patterns. I think the major thing is that in HYBE and Geffen's statement, they said that Katseye was going to continue on their promotion. Like basically, they're going to continue without Manon. Whereas like there's been times where other members have been like injured or something, and they've still found a way to include them. I feel like obviously mental health is like a little bit different, and I feel like it's on like Manon. So like if Manon has stepped away, then obviously it's her decision. Whereas I think people were saying that like Lara, for example, she was injured on the Game Boy music video, and they still found a way to edit her in. So she was mainly standing still. She wasn't doing the dancing because obviously her foot was injured. But it's, once again, like I think the fans are a bit annoyed that like whenever other members need to step away, HYBE and Geffen have made it worked and has worked with them so that they don't completely exclude them from activities. Whereas with Manon, it's like she's excluded very easily. I know like the Glossier Billboard saga, that was a whole issue. So obviously the girls did their brand collaboration, their brand deal with Glossier, and there was a billboard that I think I forgot in the street that it goes like it went up in. But obviously the girls went and took a picture in front of the billboard, and Yunche's head was like covering Manon's face, and so like it doesn't really seem like an accident, because it seemed like it wasn't really like a hey getting the like when like someone takes like a selfie and like gets everybody in, maybe you could have like argued and said okay that was like accidental, but it seems like somebody had taken the picture, looked at it, seen that like hey like Manon's head is like not like peeking through in the picture, like only Manon is being covered. And they were like, yeah, that's fine. Let's, take the picture as it is and post the picture as it is. And Manon had to come the next day and basically take a picture with her own billboard. And also fans were asking, like, how come, like, if you knew that Manon was going to be available the next day, why couldn't everybody had waited a full day and like gone and done it all together?
Excuse me, miss, is that you?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Is that you up there?
Yeah, sorry.
Is that you?
Yeah, not right now, sorry. Okay.
Is that, were you just standing and looking at that
right
billboard
I'm
of
so
your
sorry.
own
Yeah,
face?
yeah.
That was just you? You want to get a pizza or something? Okay, bye!
Ooh, this is nice. Girl, this audience is you right here? Okay.
So I remember that was something that like a lot of the fans were speculating about, and had an uproar, especially like Manon's fans were a bit annoyed by that as well. I know that like I think they had a collaboration with Monster High, and some of the girls got to do like solo shoots, and yeah, there was like, I think the girls got to do solo shoots and Manon like didn't get a solo shoot. I think the fans had like put their anger on Monster High, like the little like the brand. And somebody who worked on the shoot came out and said they asked HYBE and Geffen to provide pictures of Manon, and they didn't. So like they didn't have any pictures of Manon. So obviously that's also another moment where fans' tin hats were tingling, and they're like, okay, clearly there's like a personal issue that they've got with Manon here.
Makeup is exactly like mine. The attention to detail, look, it has my jade bracelet. It has mole on this face. No one noticed. You look exactly like yours. Yeah. Oh my Monster High doll has a bindi on. I wish that I had a doll with a bindi when I was growing up. I loved Monster High so much when I was little. I had all of the dolls. I remember how much they meant to me growing up. You got your I got like 3 clips. Thank you. Both wearing this like denim long sleeve jacket with this purple fur around the neck. Got the little ears too, and the hoops.
What is going on? What is going on?
Like even in performance exclusions, like I've said, there was a time where I think Manon like couldn't be a part of the Gabriella perform. I think it was some sort of a performance. I think it was a Gabriella performance. She couldn't be a part of like that performance, and you know the girls were made to carry on without her. Whereas like I think in the Game Boy music video, Lara couldn't make the music video because she was injured, but they made it work. So once again, like I think fans were thinking like when it's certain members, we can make it work. When it's Manon, like, oh, it's fine. We all need to carry on. Like, you know, we're not gonna wait around for her. So even now, in the present, I think there's a little bit more speculation now because I think there was a Pandora collaboration that the girls were doing, and basically somebody's noticed that Manon is being like she's not part of she's like all the girls have got their solo photos and Manon has been left out. So like individually these may seem minor, but like collectively, like when you put 2 and 2 together, it's like okay, there's a bigger issue here at play, and I feel like somebody somewhere doesn't like Manon and is like actively like excluding her out of things. I also want to touch upon something that I've noticed. Manon has gotten so much celebrity support from SZA, Kehlani, Chloe Bailey, Normani, Leanne, even Lizzo. I think I saw a video where Lizzo was playing the flute for like I think it was like a rendition of Nali, and after the like after she'd finished playing, she said like shout out to Manon, blah blah blah.
Shout out to my girl Manon from. We love you and support you, girl. Take your time.
Manon and Normani, yeah.
And obviously I'm here for it. Like I do feel like the way that she's been treated, and to have like very big industry, like you know people like SZA and Kehlani, Chloe, like all these names I've mentioned, like they are very big artists. So obviously they want to use that platform and their support to amplify and get behind, you know, Manon at a time like this. Like I'm glad that they're doing it. If especially like as Black girls. I've also seen major publications like Forbes, Rolling Stone, Cosmopolitan, like they've wrote articles basically talking about Manon and her mistreatment and the anti-blackness that has gone on with it. But I can't help but notice that, like, obviously, like, I'm a big fan of Normani. I recall that when Normani was going through what she was going through with Fifth Harmony, I don't recall Forbes, Rolling Stone, or Cosmopolitan coming out with any like there was no like even industry support behind Normani. Like, she was forced to pretty much go through it on her own, and even like in times where people would gaslight her. So like I think it's very, very interesting. Like, Manon being biracial, she has the proximity. Like, obviously we can walk and chew gum at the same time. Like, two things can be correct. The way Manon has been treated is not acceptable. It goes to show that, like, her being biracial is still enough for her to feel the anti-blackness, for her to feel that, like, hey, you can be in a major group like Katseye and still feel excluded. Like, we're still going to exclude you in certain things, but also she's still like got the proximity where something like this can go on, and major publications and major like industry like talents can come behind her and support her. Whereas like with Normani, I don't recall any of that happening. Like, and also like obviously people love Normani now, but it wasn't until Motivation, it wasn't until Wildside, like, where they saw what she could do. But like, yeah, like I think like I'm allowed to have my opinion. It is what it is, and you don't have to agree with me. I think that two things can be correct. Like, we can still talk about the way Manon has been treated and still condemn that and say that obviously it's unacceptable. But we can still say that, hey, it's very interesting that like she does have the complexion for protection. Well, the protection is limited. Protection in the sense that she has no protection even in a major group like Katseye, but also you have the protection in which like this is happening and so many people are crawling out of like whatever, like major groups, like even like TMZ, like people are commenting on it. So yeah, like that's my opinion on the whole like colorism topic regarding Manon. And obviously like the topic that's being had right now is that people are saying that like, hey, see, this is why global groups don't work. And I feel like the issue isn't with the West and like the group, like, yeah, like girl groups and boy groups in the West. I feel like culturally, like it's just different. I feel like obviously in K-pop, when you look at K-pop idols, the parents are pretty much like they know how to be parents and they know how to like let the entertainment groups companies do what the entertainment companies need to do. I don't think I know a K-pop idol whose parents are like carrying on and are clout chasing on social media all the time. And I feel like Danny's father, especially, like I do feel like he deserves all the flogging that he's getting. And now also what he's done as well is I think people have gone and done some like digging and they found out that like Danny's parents are like Trump supporters. So obviously she's also being brought in the conversation as well. And it's just like just a mess. Like I don't see why like the parents just can't, like I think like do you lot not have anything to do? Like Katseye are probably are successful, but I don't think that they're making so much money that they can retire their entire parents. So it's like, do none of y'all have jobs that you got not need to do? Like why can't you just let these girls do what they need to do and mind your business? Like why do you need to be carried on social media? And also with the things that his dad has been saying, kind of like what Missy was doing on Popstar Academy. It's like, how do you expect Manon to go back into this group when it's like your dad has been chatting shit about me on Instagram? Like, you get what I mean? And this is one part where it's like, I don't know how HYBE, Geffen, Manon, Danny's dad are gonna like come to a resolution, because I mean Manon seems very forgiving. She seems like she's the type to be like, the show must go on, it is what it is. But yeah, I could not just carry on like that. And also like the things that like as fans were saying, like the things that Danny's dad was saying, it seems like it's things that like Danny's told him. Like so it's like maybe conversation, like maybe they're having conversations behind closed doors on like, oh, Manon is always the favorite, or everything's said around Manon, or she takes too many days off, or da da da. And so like these are things the dad is only emboldened to say these things because obviously Danny must have told him those things. So now we ask the question of, can Katseye survive this? I remember seeing like a funny tweet on Twitter. I'm so annoyed that I didn't save it. But basically they said that like obviously Manon is gonna leave Katseye, but now they've got three options. Either one, Katseye becomes successful, Manon also becomes successful, like as a soloist. Or number two, Manon becomes really successful and Katseye flop instantly. Or number three, they all flop. And I found out like that was like very interesting. That was really funny. I feel like in order for them to survive this, I do feel like some PR and some like they need to have like an intervention. I feel like they also need to whack all the parents into position. I don't know whether it's like they need some sort of like a legal NDA that like all the parents need to sign, where it's like you need to stop acting a fool on social media. Yeah, and I feel like I know that there was a conversation that was being had like after the Grammys. People weren't like the general public weren't really happy about Katseye's performance. There was quite a lot of like hate. People were going. I don't know. Like obviously, people were saying that like Gabriella was the better like song that they should have performed Gabriella at the Grammys instead of Nali. I know that like I think somebody was like reading out the lyrics of Nali on TikTok and it went viral and people were saying that like they had no business performing that in front of Kendrick Lamar and Sister and everything like that. I found that so funny. I heard there was like a leaked song, and like that's people are saying that like this song is Katseye's next release and the song is trash.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
I feel like when it came to Nali, when I heard the song, disliked it instantly. I wasn't really a fan of the Nali song. It wasn't until the music video wasn't really no, it was the live performance. So when they went on like Music Bank and all of them and they started performing Nali, it was the dancing that was really like really took people aback and really like got people into Nali because obviously like it was like high performance everything. But yeah, like Nali as a song, the lyrics weren't really like compared to their debut song, compared to Touch, there wasn't a whole lot going on there lyrically. So I understand why like Nali, like people would be like Nali as a song isn't really great. It's just the dancing that really pushed the song. That's like in typical like when you look at HYBE and like even just K-pop as an industry, that's what tends to happen. Like if something works, let's just keep on, riding that wave until it completely flops. Like you see now, currently, I feel like the new trend in K-pop now is the whole Travis Scott sound. So right now, like every single K-pop song that's coming out right now is like a reject of like a Travis Scott song. It's like I don't know why Travis Scott is going viral in Korea all of a sudden, but like yeah, like look at like I don't want to name certain songs or like certain idol like groups, but like right now it's like that's the wave. Like Playboy Carti and Travis Scott like is the current thing that's going viral, and I feel like that's what HYBE is doing with Katseye. That Internet Girl song, trash. Really, like there was nothing going on. I think it's Internet Girl. Yeah, that song was not doing anything. And I feel like there's a unreleased song that I've heard. I think it's called Juicy or something, and it sounds just like Internet Girl, Nali, just nothing going on there lyrically. And I feel like what Katseye needs to do now is they need to go back to they need to get together all their good writers. The song needs to be good. Like and that's the thing is that the public tends to have a like short-term memory. So I feel like the HYBE and Geffen should bank on that and should be like, right, okay, let's just release something. You cannot exclude Manon. Like you have to like if you're carrying on with activities, I feel like it should be like any small appearances here and there. But like the next time that you guys make a song, it has to be with Manon because I don't see Katseye. I think Katseye is too young. I don't really care what Danny's dad thinks, but if he thinks that like Katseye is going to be successful, like just without Manon, it's going to be so like it's just not going to work. I don't really care for Geffen, but like HYBE has like they're going to be fine regardless. They've got like I think there's a group called like Santos Bravos, and they're like a Latin, like they're all from like different countries in Latin America. And I didn't. One of their music videos has like 32 million views. So if without like Katseye, HYBE has got something in the bank. Like they've got multiple groups that can bring in the money. So I don't really think that they care too much if Katseye doesn't really work. People look at Beyonce and stuff and think that like going solo and stuff like that is so easy and I'm gonna break away. But like you need to sort of like cultivate you need to have time to cultivate yourself as a brand and like create like a solid fan base before you can go solo. Even like Beyonce, like when she was in Destiny's Child, she wasn't just quick to go solo like that. Like it took some time before, and even then, like she's still at a good place with Destiny's Child where let Beyonce go on a world tour, Destiny's Child is coming with her. Like Beyonce has never been the type to be like, oh, Destiny's Child, I don't know her. I don't want to talk about it. She's still like grateful for Destiny's Child and her experience that she had with Destiny's Child. Yeah, in terms of Katseye, like some of the Katseye members going solo, or even all the Katseye members going solo, it's just not gonna work. Firstly, the pop industry is not big enough for all five of them to have successful careers. Maybe one, but yeah, like it's I think like okay, let's break it down like individually for Manon, because I think I've been seeing that like Manon on a track and Manon are like following each other. So people think that like, oh, Manon is gonna like release a music project or something, and I feel like I don't really see like like Manon being the new music girly. I think obviously on the show Popstar Academy, like she's worked to come from like to come where you haven't done this before, and like she's now actively like whenever she's dancing and like performing on the stage, like she's keeping up with some of the girls like Danny and Megan who have been dancing for like God knows how long. Like she's really able to keep up with them, but I don't see her doing music. Yeah, like I don't really see that for her. I think somebody said that they can imagine her being like a social media personality, like a Quen who's here on YouTube. Which yeah, I sort of see that as well. I do think that she should go into acting, like her what was it? Like she did like a video, like a project that she did like recently.
Not bad.
Her acting was really, really good, and I feel like I can imagine Manon doing something in acting. I can imagine like Manon being on like a Euphoria or like one of these like high schooly type of like shows. Yeah, like I do feel like she has like a place in acting. I feel like they need to release more group projects and then they start doing like solo things little by little. So even like I know that Daniela did that thing with one of the guys from TXT. I think his name was Youngjun. That was good. Like them doing little solo things. Laura's done some solo things as well. I think I want to see some solo things from Megan and Sophia. I don't really think I've seen anything from them. Yunche as well. Okay, let's see. Okay, if the Katseye girls were to go solo, this is what I think would. This is what I think I could see all of them doing. If there's anyone who has like a potential to go like solo and can actually be a pop star, is Lara. I do feel like she's obviously shown that she's passionate when it comes to music. Like her singing, like when you watch the documentary, the Popstar Academy documentary, like her introduction of her just singing. That could be the death of us, baby. I think she was like the best singer on the show, and I think she's also the best singer in that group. She has the whole package. She can sing, she can dance, perform. I think like her sister is also like a singer, like a solo singer or something. But I feel like, yeah, like in order for Lara to be successful, she should stay in Katseye for much longer. Obviously, Lara's very pop. Like I don't imagine her in R&B, surely not country, surely not rap and all the other genres. I feel like she would have to like enter the pop industry, and I feel like it's so saturated now. Like the pop industry is so difficult. Like you've got Olivia Rodrigo, Sabrina Carpenter, Tyler. Like where will you put a Lara Raj? I think like yeah, like it's a. I'm not saying this as like, oh, she can't be successful, but like, let's be realistic here. Where is Lara going to go in this new era? Because like when I think of Lara, like I think she released like a song. I think like I saw on Twitter where she recorded a song or something, and it sounds very Charlie XCX like. And I think like we've got Tate McRae, we've got like Charlie XCX, and all these lot. Like where would Lara go in the pop industry if she was to go solo now? You know what I mean? Like I'm not saying like she can't in a couple of years' time. But right now, there's so many, like, there's too many seats taken in pop right now. Like, I don't see any other Katseye girl who's really coming in and like taking in anybody's spot anytime soon. And then I feel like, what can I see Sophia doing? I feel like Sophia has a lot of Filipino fans, yeah, because obviously she's from the Philippines. And I feel like I could imagine her doing like something in the Philippines, like just being a big name. I don't know whether like I can imagine her being a host, a presenter, because she's very good at speaking. So I can imagine her being a presenter. I can imagine her also acting or something like that. Like, yeah, in the Philippines, like something like that. I feel like Danny, I can imagine Danny. I think when I see Danny, I think dancer. I think she should go into like choreography. Like I can imagine Danny being like a really like a world star choreographer. I know that like she hasn't done anything like I've not really seen anything like of her like being a choreographer, but I do feel like she'd go into that. I can imagine her on like the next Street Woman Fighter season, like her creating her own group and being a Street Woman Fighter. I feel like if she knuckles down enough, I can imagine her being like the next, Paris, I think her last name is Gabel, like how you pronounce it, Rihanna's choreographer. Yeah, I can imagine her like finding her next star, and like sort of taking them under her wing and like, being a good choreographer for them because I feel like Danny's a good dancer. Yunche, I feel like Yunche, she can. I feel like HYBE has invested so much in Yunche. I don't think that if they were to scrap Katseye, I don't feel like they would like they'll just be like, yeah, Yunche, you go do whatever you want to do. I do feel like they'll take Yunche on board because obviously there's an investment there. So I feel like if there's a new K-pop girl group that HYBE is doing, Yunche is young enough, like they can just put her in. And I don't mean it as like, oh, the rest of the girls are old, but like with how young they debut K-pop groups nowadays, I think it's like some of them are like 17, 18, 16 nowadays. And I feel like Yunche would be fine. Like they could just put her in the next, high Korean girl group that they're starting and should fit in fine. Or if not, I could imagine like some entertainment company taking Yunche on. Yeah, like I feel like Yunche can go back into K-pop. And then next, Megan. No shade. I cannot think of anything that Megan can be doing. Because I think she's just so. I think maybe like Megan could go into like social media. Like yeah, like she could. Like I could just imagine her having a successful social media platform because she's got like a really quirky personality, chaotic like personality. I can imagine Megan doing that. The girl is talented. She can dance. But yeah, like when I think of dancer in Katseye, I think of Danny. Like I think that's more Danny's thing. Like yeah, I do feel like they tend to forget about Megan quite a lot in Katseye, which isn't very good. Like even like with the way they style Megan, I do not like it at all. Like and I don't know whether it's just like Megan might not know her style. But like yeah, whoever's doing all the styling for the girls, like because like Lara is always whenever like obviously I see the Katseye girlies and they're all like dressed either on the red carpet or for any event. I feel like I'm always looking at like Manon, sometimes Danny as well, and Lara especially always have the best style, always have like things fitted well to them. And then it's like Megan is always giving the scraps, and I'm just like, why? Why are they treating Megan like this? Like, so I feel like it doesn't help as well. Like, if we're thinking of like what's gonna happen to Katseye, I feel like it's not looking good for Megan. Like that's for a start. So I feel like yeah, like I cannot tell you what Megan can be doing. I do like yeah, probably imagine her on social media, because yeah, she's got a good personality. But like that's all I can think for Megan, and it's nothing personal. I do just think that like I don't know much about Megan. So yeah, that's my breakdown and my opinion of the whole Katseye Manon situation. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys feel like Manon should come back to Katseye? Do you think that like if Manon like doesn't come back to Katseye, do you think that Katseye have a future? Let me know what you guys think. I think it'll be very, very interesting. If you reached this part of my video, thank you so much for taking time of your day to watch my video and to watch me. I really appreciate it. And if you like what you've seen, please like, subscribe, and stay. Let me know what other videos that you guys want me to do, or what other breakdowns or other opinions that you want me to have, because I'm a very opinionated girl. I have lots of them. Yeah, so I'll catch you in my next video. Bye, guys.